Welcome back, boys and girls, to round 3.
Moms, dads, sons, daughters.
Yeah, the whole family. This is a family show.
Those of you that don't identify as any of those things, siblings, children,
Siblings, yeah. Adults, children,
parents and children, if you...
males and females of all ages.
And if you don't identify as either of those, you're welcome as well.
Everybody here, welcome to Tuesday Night Modern. We have got an exciting matchup for you. The height of interactivity.
Oh, yes.
Hunter, Hersko-Fugitt, playing Storm, versus Kyle Gallagher, back on camera with his Skred deck.
Skred Red.
Skred Red.
So he's got a lot of spot removal, which is actually going to come in handy for this Storm deck. 2 of the key cards
Are creatures.
Are creatures. So you either want to have a Brawl or a Goblin Electromancer. And I think with the printing of Opt, the list I've looked at are shaving on Electromancers.
Yeah, you usually go down to 6 total creatures, but here's the thing.
Yep.
Get your hands out there. Here's the thing. Do a nice little chop.
Chop.
There you go.
Here's the thing, chop coming
here's
in.
the thing, chop. A little bit like a tomahawk
Here's
chop,
the
but
thing.
much less racist.
It's more like fingers coming at you
like a
than
jab.
like it's more of a jab than like coming from the ear to the table.
Like the 1-inch punch jab type
Yeah.
thing. You're just getting it in there. Here's
One
the thing.
punch!
If you only have the spot removal and you don't have pressure on the Storm deck,
Yeah.
they're going to beat you 100% of the time.
100%.
You cannot dilly nor dally
Dilly
against
dilly.
this Storm deck. That is banned from this stream. That is not family friendly.
Last night we were playing Commander, and me and...
Turn 1 Relic of Progenitus is a good way to pressure this Storm deck.
Yes, this card's important here.
But, like spot removal, this cannot be your game plan.
You need to pressure the life total.
You do. You need to limit the number of turns he has to set up.
All right. Exile that. Boop. There we go. Turn 2. Where's the pressure? Where's the beef?
No beef.
I think we got a Chandra in hand.
I believe that's a Koth of the Hammer. But we'll see. You got a better look at it than I did. No, then indeed that is a Chandra. You were right.
I think Chandra might even be... Ooh, wow. That's a good one.
It doesn't actually matter.
So he's got the basic island in play already.
He's getting a basic island now as well.
And so he probably gets another basic island here since all the non-basics become pretty mountainy.
They become significantly mountainy. Yes, that is why Humans is so good against this Storm deck, is because they can disrupt Storm very easily in the form of
Kitesail Freebooter.
Freebooters, Meddling Mages, and then they also pressure the life total significantly. They're very aggressive. That's where you want to be.
AGGRESSIVE. Be aggressive. Be aggressive. So Kyle's going to have this Chandra. I think this might even be a better pressure point than Koth. Because it can act in many different ways. So it can give you the additional card, or it can pressure life total, or it can add a bunch of mana so that you can like put additional pressure on the board.
Right.
And the ultimate is just as good.
Thalia also does a good job of pressuring Storm. That's correct.
Oh sure, yeah, that's a great. It's a great.
So yes and no. So he's gonna play a Chandra here on 4.
Yeah.
And he can just plus it to the moon. And if he doesn't have any other action, even when he ultimates Chandra,
He still has to take more turns to win the game.
right there's a chance that he just he needs to draw spells to end the game there. It deals 5, which is a huge chunk of damage, but I mean Hunter's going to be at 19, 15 maybe.
He's chosen the Nalars. Speaking of a family show.
The whole family showed up for this one. Hunter thinking about remanding this. I think it's a good call.
Yeah,
you buy a lot of time with this remand.
Yeah, I would mand again. And there's the Goblin Electromancer. He's going to have turn 4.
Yes, we were going to talk about the Magna Carta, but we'll save that for the second game here.
Right, and the sideboarding portion.
Yeah, non-Magic Basics is a little strange. I don't know why we have an unglued, sorry.
Yeah, best island.
Unglued island, not best. Get out of here.
Is the best all right, time out. It's the best island.
Disagree substantially. And is that a Kaladesh island? I believe it's a Kaladesh island.
Yep.
Which is just an embarrassment.
Oh yeah, I would be.
So before this match, I told Hunter that he was going to be on camera, and I said, "Listen, I need you to play as cleanly as possible." And he said, "You know what? I will make it a point to focus on my cleanliness this match." So let's see how he does.
Yeah, he's thinking hard about.
He's missing points on the Magic Basics, but that's fine. That's not something he can control now.
Right.
In the future, I would like him to control that. Billy Camino says the Venice Island is the best island.
Oh, if we're going to talk about best island ever?
Best island ever.
Venice is pretty strong there.
I am a big fan of the non-sunset beta island myself. I think that's just my best island.
All right.
4 mana for Chandra, man. If he does not tick this down... Oh, he has the Remand, too. This could be very, very bad for Kyle. So he draws first, as he's correctly identified.
All right, second brawl.
So now that brawl is not exiled. That is in the graveyard. Right.
I don't think it matters that much. Well, it does because he's probably going to activate this relic again at some point.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so,
All right, so here's going to get the 4th land. And with the cards that are in his hand, I see multiple rituals. I see a Manamorphose. This could very easily be the turn. Yeah, there is a gifts in here.
Mm-hmm.
This could very easily be the turn. He's not pressured into making sure this is the turn, but you've got an open board, you've got a creature, you've untapped with one of your cost reducers, and that's a big deal.
Yep. All right, here's a Montagna.
Oh, he has multiple gifts. Okay, so we're getting gifts here. Let's see what's up. He's going to go for multiple rituals, the Manamorphose, Past in Flames. This is a good sign that he's thinking about going off this turn.
Yep. Yeah, so I would agree. Hunter is a very gifted Magic player. He thinks deeply about his lines.
Right.
He's got multiple gifts when it comes to playing this game. Cleanliness, not one of them, but
hey, he's working on it.
Makes up for in other areas.
He has specifically stated he's working on it, so let's give him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah. I'll give him that gift.
It's not a gift. That is not a gift.
So I put the Manamorphose in the graveyard as...
Big Bear, yes, he absolutely should have waited to tap Relic, although in this situation with him discarding the Brawl, it doesn't really matter.
So you want to put the Manamorphose in the graveyard so he moves one less card?
Correct.
So that's...
Oh, this is not...
Yeah, I gave him the rituals and the the Manamorphose. So this is gonna... It really opens the floodgates because now Hunter can make a ton of blue mana.
Correct.
Whereas with only one Manamorphose in hand, or potentially one Manamorphose, one Manamorphose total, like according to what Kyle knows, it really chokes him on how much blue he can make, which can...
I don't understand what's going on here. We have so many dice.
So I think the D6 is the storm count.
Okay.
The D red is obviously the red mana, or the red D20 is obviously the red mana.
D red.
The blue D20 is the blue mana.
Okay.
There you go.
Down to 3. Up to 4. So we're up to 7 mana here.
All right. He's
I
got
would
a
just fire off this Peer Through the Depths.
Peer Through the Depths, right? That's pretty strong.
Yeah, Peer Through the Depths is the one you see cut for these ops as well. So he may be playing a little bit of an outdated list, but finds Manamorpho, so that's a great dig.
All right.
So he has enough to flash back here, and I don't know what is in his hand, if that's something he wants to do, but he could very easily do that. I believe he's cast 6 spells. He's going to draw, I believe, 3 cards. I think there's 3 Manamorphos in the yard.
Yeah, and then also the Peer Through the Depths. So he's just got to find, I think at this point, he's just got to find the Grape Shot.
Well, he has a Gifts Ungiven in hand and in yard, so if he really wanted to, he could just Gifts now, which is a reasonable thing, and just get the 4th Manamorphos. Alright, so there he is. Casting it from his hand.
Casting from his hand gets a very similar one, except this one's going to include a Grape Shot.
Correct, instead of the Past in Flames.
You gotta find a Grape Shot. There it is.
And now, at this point, Kyle should just be conceding, but if he wants to make Hunter go through the motions, that's perfectly fine as well.
Yep.
And yes, Storm players should definitely have the dice if they're going to play the deck. Like, just like any other deck, you need to be prepared with the tools to play your deck. But in this case, on stream, they have you use the stream dice just so you can see them.
Yep.
And so it's a little bit clunky.
My favorite is when somebody's doing it by memory, and I, have responses.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, where are we at here? And like, you make them, you make them tell you how much mana you have like 2 or 3 times, so you can figure out when to respond.
Right.
They don't like that.
No. It is definitely over, and you should definitely concede. But game 1, making him go through the motions just to prove that he knows what he's doing, that's fine. It's typically game 2 that you see the concessions.
Yeah. And so Kyle's line here that would have changed this is to not cast the Chandra.
Right.
Wait until you had like an additional mountain open, because Skredding this Baral would have changed the...
Or keeping the Relic open.
Yeah, keeping the Relic open changes the arithmetic pretty quickly too. Alright, here's a Grape Shot for 21 after some more dancing of...
Yeah. At least we were able to shortcut the graveyard. Just be like, I'm going to cast all these rituals. I'm going to get this much mana. I'm going to cast all these Grape Shots.
Right.
And then I'm going to cast all these Manamorphos rather, and then I'm going to Grape Shot you out. So it'll be interesting to see. Kyle is kind of pre-boarded for this match. You've got the relics in the main. I don't know how many. You might want to bring in like a 3rd and a 4th, or however many you've got there.
Right.
Blood Moon doesn't do a whole lot here.
Yeah, you can probably shave those for some more creatures if you have a creature.
Yeah, I honestly don't know what the Skred sideboard looks like. I'd imagine there's like Molten Rains, which you don't want. Maybe some Fulminators, which you also don't want.
Yeah, I just want anything with a power and toughness.
Yeah, I'm not excited about Fulminator because it doesn't really give you a clock.
Okay.
I would be excited about a Sith Firewalker.
I mean, we're going to live in magical Christmas land.
We can. It is a modern legal card. You can play it if you want. Sith Firewalker is Completely legal. Not reasonable.
Do you know what became illegal? Pope Innocent III invalidated the Magna Carta shortly after its signing, which was an agreement between the king and barons. So it was the baron class that the Magna Carta affected.
The barons and the king.
Right.
It was on behalf of the barons to limit the powers of the royalty, right?
Correct.
Okay.
But it did not affect the peasantry.
Well, it didn't affect the peasantry, but one would assume they knew about it.
I don't know how much the barons were telling the peasantry.
I'm sure they were tweeting about it.
Questionable.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, well. I guess it's more of a recent thing that our world leaders are hip to Twitter.
Unfortunately.
Unfortunately. So what happened after Pope Innocent gave the Magna Carta the axe?
The First Barons' War.
The First Barons' War. How many Barons' Wars were there?
I have no idea. I didn't go that deep.
More than one.
I didn't click.
Likely.
I didn't click through that many levels of Wikipedia.
I would have gone so deep on this.
I'm sure you would have.
How many Baron Wars, and what did they accomplish? Like, so it's just like the barons versus the monarchy, I guess?
We understand how feudalism is structured, correct?
Yes.
Okay, so if the barons stop protecting the monarch
Yeah.
and go to war against the monarch, then the monarch has to take whoever's loyal to him
Yeah.
to fight
Other
the people
barons, probably.
Yeah, right, other barons. And so, like, then you have a war between barons.
Okay.
How's the chat doing over there?
We have an unknown user named Hoagland85 who says one of his favorite facts about the Magna Carta is that the original charters were written in parchment sheets using quill pens in heavily abbreviated medieval Latin, which was the convention for legal documents at the time.
Oh, yeah?
That is a fact to have favorited. I will give you that.
I wonder how much that affected the translation and our modern understanding of it.
Probably not much.
Yeah, you think we understand their medieval Latin abbreviation?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think the Rosetta Stone just sealed the deal on that for us. There's enough Latin documents, and then we could translate them, and we know enough of the language now.
I don't think there was any Latin on the Rosetta Stone.
I don't think so either. It was like Aramaic and
Egyptian
and
Sanskrit.
Was it Sanskrit?
And bonus points for the user that tells us what languages were on the Rosetta Stone.
Also, Brannigan Law, Magna Carta was a decent Mario Party 2 minigame, but Mario Party 2 is trash compared to Mario Party 1. The omission of Bash and Cash was just a travesty.
Man, those games. Do you think they're going to come out with a N64 classic that has all those games on it?
Hopefully those games aren't on it. Or they completely revamp the controller.
No, just like Mario 64, Mario Party 1, both of the good Zeldas.
Yeah, Mario Party 1, all the Mario Parties, just destroyed your hands.
Oh, yeah, and your controllers.
Yeah, so hopefully those aren't on there. Mario Party is actually awful, but as such, I don't think it's overrated. I think everybody kind of knows that it's just awful.
Yeah,
it's like one of those bad games. It's like, oh yeah, Mario Party, ha.
Yeah, let's sit around and play some Mario Party. It's just bad. It's like when you get together at the store and you're like, oh my gosh, they got a Fallen Empires box. Let's draft it.
Nobody's ever said that.
And
those are words that no Magic player has ever uttered.
I have watched at Gen Con. I have watched Fallen Empires drafts.
So we've got an actual Magic question.
Oh yeah, rock and roll.
I don't play much modern or old Magic, but what is the counter to Storm? What is his plan to defeat it?
This Skred deck probably doesn't have a plan to defeat it. If I were building the Skred deck, I would probably put in Simian Spirit Guides and Chalice of the Void. Because that does a pretty decent job of addressing Storm.
Yeah, you need it on 2.
Yeah, X has to equal 2. So he can theoretically play that on turn 3 with a Mind Stone.
Sure. And that's reasonable.
But if he were to, last game, if he were to have removed the Baral after the Gifts was cast, but before Hunter, resolved the Gifts and could start casting stuff again,
right?
Then it makes Hunter's world like very difficult.
Oh, absolutely.
Or if he would have had this relic available to sacrifice to remove the graveyard after the Gifts was cast.
Sure.
Like put the Passive Flames in the graveyard and just like remove the. He obviously gets a different set of.
You got a Dragon's Claw out here.
A Dragon's Claw. So this really changes the calculus, as every ritual card that Hunter now casts adds 1 to Kyle's life total, which basically takes 1 off the Storm count when you think about it in Grape Shot terms.
Correct, unless you have multiple Grape Shots.
Sure.
So that's the out here for Hunter, is that he has to set up a Storm turn with multiple Grape Shots. Another interesting thing here, Brannigan Law says that Mario Party 2 through 4 are amazing, which is just flat out false.
Okay.
Because they had that watermelon-ass genie who would steal a star and give it to somebody else, and that is the worst mechanic of any game ever. That was just the worst thing.
All right, so...
Yeah, Dragon's Claw is not a great sideboard card here, but, I mean, if you're mono red, what are your options? Obviously, he has this against the burn decks, but...
Yeah, this card's unique, and...
Unique.
I'm being generous.
You are being so generous. No, it's actually a decent sideboard card against burn.
Yeah.
It buys you a lot of time, but...
I've played it in Affinity.
Not so much.
Against burn.
Skred the Baral.
Skred the Baral.
Very reasonable.
Is Skred an instant, or is that a sorcery?
I believe Skred is an instant.
I think so, too. I'm just thinking about his main phase.
Second Dragon's Claw.
Can he... So Hunter's out now is Echoing Truth.
I mean, Echoing Truth is nice, but he doesn't even really need it. He just keeps on keeping on. He has to set up a bigger turn.
All right. Set up a bigger turn, Hunter. Go for it.
Go for it.
Go for it. Go against it.
His hand is all blue spells. I see several Gifts Ungivens. 3. And I believe a Baral. Although it might be just any other blue spell that's not a Gifts Ungiven.
Yeah, do you think you just jam the Baral here?
How many cards in Kyle's hand?
2 or 3?
Probably
He's played
not.
4, 5, 6.
Yeah, he has
He's
1.
played 7 and only hit 1 draw step, so he's had 2 draw steps. So you might have mulligan? Did he mulligan?
Another Baral.
He's got to have 2 in hand.
Now he does.
This turn 4, so he would have had 3 draw steps.
Here's the land and I believe the Skred. Nope, 3 mana.
Rabblemaster.
Rabblemaster does a decent job of pressuring. He could have played it after combat
After
here,
combat, right.
But it doesn't really matter, I guess.
Yeah, this is a cool card. Oh, it actually does matter, because if he were to... Oh, he's not going to have the token either way. Yeah.
Doesn't really matter.
What does?
Well, it doesn't.
I'm just saying what does.
What does matter? Lots of things matter. Alright, let's see if he's going to try to go off here. This is a weird position to try and go off in. You have plenty of time. I would just play the land, pass. You have Gifts Ungivens to set up your big turn. Several of them. I do see a empty the Warrens in hand, though.
All right. Empty the Warrens is one way in which Hunter can overcome these Dragon's Claws.
Alright, so here is a Gifts and Given. I assume we're going to do the standard bunch of rituals. Manamorphose. I don't think you want the Past in Flames just yet. I would personally get a Remand. But that's just me. I'm just a crazy individual.
I might get a Goblin Electromancer.
So you're not going to cast that this turn. And your hand has 2 other gifts in it. So I think what he's going for here is just Warrens for like 8 tokens. Looks like he's getting the Grape Shot hand.
Right. Yeah, so if he were to have... If he gets Grape Shot, he can get this Goblin Rabblemaster out of here, and then the gifts next turn helps him to...
I am not crazy for not liking Mario Party 2 through 4. 1 was the best. Come on. Let's be realistic here. So he's not giving him the Grape Shot, which I think is a mistake here. I think you just give him the Grape Shot.
Yeah, you put Manamorphose and the Grape Shot in the yard, and then he does. What does he do with the rest of the mana?
Well, like if he has a Storm card in hand, like you just gave him everything. Yeah, 1 broke your controller. That was hard mode, man. That's hardcore. Metal AF.
So what if you made the rule that like only Thumb could use the joystick on 1?
You'd have like 4 players cheating. And that's all there is to it.
All right. Okay, so he's going to gifts again here.
Might as well. Keep firing them off. I guess he wants to go as deep as possible with this. Empty the Warrens.
Sure.
It's just bad. Like, he just doesn't do anything. It doesn't pressure. It doesn't actually stop him from going off. Most decks sideboard will have the Empty the Warrens just to get around hate. It ain't good.
It ain't good.
It ain't good. He's thinking about getting this Echoing Truth, which is a reasonable thing to do. I'd rather draw into it personally, but he's shown that he is not giving you the Manamorphose, so you can't really do that. Pieces of the Puzzle is a nice one.
Yeah, there you go. That's a strong card in this particular scenario. There's a lot of lines here that Hunter's thinking about.
Oh, is Blood Moon better? I don't know. They're both pretty bad. I mean, I guess Blood Moon can kind of sometimes win, like if they have a really awkward land draw, but it has to be really bad.
Well, once he's seen it in game 1, too, he knows to fetch for the basic islands.
Right. Well, so you run 4 islands and like 6 to 8 fetches.
Right.
Depending on the build. And, I mean, that's 10 cards that they have to not draw.
Yeah.
So, I'm not a huge fan, but I think both cards are bad. I don't think that either one of them are particularly good. No, he's fetched multiple times.
Alright, here is the Scalding Tarn into...
Probably an island. Can't imagine needing any more red mana. I didn't see what happened with his gifts, but I don't think it matters.
Alright, just the steam vents to be safe.
Alright, just reckless abandon here. He's going to go down to 16. Here is pieces of the puzzle. Let's see what pieces he finds.
5.
I believe that's an Echoing Truth and a Desperate Ritual.
Yep. And this is just about everything Hunter could hope life could be right now.
Well, I don't know if he has the Manamorphose.
Do we have the Manamorphose in hand?
I don't think it's there. And that makes this a little bit difficult. But it's okay, because you still have multiple rituals and your Empty the Warrens, so...
Yeah, so Kyle has 0 cards in hand here is the thing to remember. So if Hunter just goes, you know, three rituals here, makes the storm count 7, and then Empty the Warrens is the 8th spell. This puts him at 16 goblins.
Alright, so he gets 16 goblins. That's 2 attacks.
Yep.
And that should do it. I don't know if Kyle gained his life off of the rituals.
If I'm Kyle here, I'm sacrificing this relic because I need...
There he goes. He's up to 85. Or 35, sorry.
I need something to kill all these goblins. Because even 3 attacks is too short of a time span for me.
Right. I don't know if Skred has that in the deck. I mean, certainly they have the option in the sideboard, but I doubt he's bringing in Anger of the Gods against Storm, you know?
Yeah.
Might not be the worst. It's probably better than Dragon's Claw.
Alright, what's the last card in your hand? Stormbreath Dragon could be a strong one.
Yeah, it definitely sets up a better clock.
Um,
4 mana. Koth is, I mean, it's a clock, but it's not a good one.
puts him up to 37. And the mountain becomes a guy.
This Koth, of course, is up to 4 loyalty here.
Yep. So let's see how Hunter splits this up, if he's even afraid of the Koth.
Yeah, I think you take the Koth down. There's no reason not to. It doesn't affect the clock
He's got to send 5 creatures at the Koth. And the remainder can go to Kyle.
Yeah, it looks like he's attacking Koth with 5.
And Kyle with 11.
Kyle with 11. So Kyle should take 10.
Yep.
Takes him down to 27. Hunter is still playing conservatively, leaving that Baral back, which I think has a heads-up play. Attacking with this Rabblemaster with the Goblin represents 4 damage, which doesn't seem like a lot, but Hunter does have to protect it a little bit. He's at 12.
Yep. Let's see. Kyle could draw a Hurly-Burly here.
I don't think he's running the Hurly-Burly. He might run a Pyroclasm. That seems
Yeah,
like a reasonable
Pyroclasm's more reasonable than Hurly-Burly. Yep, there's 3, so Hunter's going to be at 9.
So down to 9. Slightly more precarious.
Yes.
Especially against a deck that does run Lightning Bolt. Just passing turn. End of turn, we're going to Gifts. Yeah, there's no reason to stop going for it.
Yeah, man. So now he gets to get the Past in Flames version of this Gifts piles.
Right.
And
I don't know how many Grape Shots he has left, but...
Manamorphose in the yard. There we go.
So these two in the yard, those two in hand. Nice little cut.
All right. All right, so here we go. Hunter, what do you got, friend?
If he was going to Echoing Truth, the Dragon's Claw, he would have done that in a turn.
Yep.
So there's no reason to do that now. I think you just swing in. So you could set up another Empty the Warrens, because he has Empty the Warrens in hand.
Oh, sure.
But there's not a lot of reason to do that right now. Like, it's more defensive. But you don't need to be more defensive. Like, you have the Echoing Truth.
Right.
You just send the 15, and then if he draws another creature, he has to block.
Right, so Kyle's going to go to 12 here.
And now you just pass. There's no point in having land, sure. Pass.
There's an activation of the scrying sheets.
Get any lands out of the way. Looks like we didn't find one. He does have a land in hand. So it's one card he doesn't have to worry about. And this should just about do it. I would imagine we're going to see a concession here. Kyle would have to play Pia and Kira Nalar, I guess. Kind of gets him out of this. He gains 1, goes up to 13, can block.
Gains 2, goes up to 14.
Oh, yeah. Can block 4 creatures at that point.
Mm-hmm.
But it would still lose to the Echoing Truth he knows he has in hand. The 1 mana, Lightning Bolt your guy, gain 2 life.
Alright, we're all down.
Alright, up to 14. We can block 1 guy. How about we block 0 guys? Attack 7 down to 8.
Yep, and so Hunter's going to end of turn Echoing Truth this.
And then attack with 15. That'll do it. So there we saw the power of Storm against a deck that just doesn't get to interact with it. I don't know if he has this deck on his radar, but if you guys are going to a Modern tournament,
This deck is on the radar.
absolutely have a plan for Storm. You need to. It's very real. It's a very tier 1. Be prepared to play it.
It's like
multiple
camping.
times.
Even though you think it might not storm, you want to be prepared when it does.
It's also like camping because the matches are often very intense.
Whoa! Got there.
All right. We'll be back for round 4 in all likelihood. We're going to force some poor saps to play. And we'll see you here in about 10 minutes.
I love you.